Ahoy, peace and blessings, welcome back. Today we're talking about why I'll never be a Satanist. Alright, first I just want to say I'm not a Christian apologist. I'm not Christian, alright? This is not one of those videos. My name is Cerberus. Alright, King of Hell, right? This is your first time seeing my videos, look at my videos, right? I'm on here talking about Samael, Lilith, Lucifer, all kind of stuff, right? Black Magician, right? No Yugi. You know what I'm saying? So this is not one of those Christian apologist videos, right? I just wanted to make this video clear, this message clear, because I have called myself a Satanist in the past, right? But ultimately, it just comes down to this. I'm not the only one in the world. You get what I mean? Other people call themselves Satanists too, right? There's two predominant Satanist groups, right? The Church of Satan and the Satanic Temple. And I do not fully agree with either one of them. All right, my views of Satanism is not aligned with either one of these groups. You get what I mean? And I've met cool, smart people in both of these groups. You get what I'm saying? Some of those people had their disagreements as well. But, you know, lately I just been having feeling that I'm not calling myself a Satanist anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm Cerberus, I'm a god, that's it. I don't have a religion, I am a god, literally. But I made this community here just for like-minded people. You get what I mean? People to share their ideas, people to grow and learn things, new practitioners of magic and spirituality. You get what I mean? Maybe some people just find it entertaining at the end of the day, right? But this is how it goes. This is why I'll never consider myself a Satanist. All right, the Satanic Temple was founded in 2013, right? I've been on some Satanist stuff since before 2013. You get what I mean? Elementary school and stuff. You can ask people I grew up with, you can ask my family and stuff. I've been on some Satanist stuff since elementary school, right? But they founded this temple, right? They have thousands of members. They consider themselves the true Satanists and things like that, right? Then you have the Church of Satan, right? Founded in 1966 by Anton LaVey, right? I wasn't even alive back then. You get what I mean? If I was alive in the 1800s or the early 1900s or something, I would have started the real Satanists. You get what I'm saying? But that name is dead now to me. You get what I mean? These groups kind of just, you know, took claim to that name. I don't view Satan the same way they do, right? I don't want to confuse other people. When I say I'm a Satanist, they're going to think I'm part of the Satanic Temple or the Church of Satan, right? So I just won't call myself a Satanist anymore. You know, point blank and period. I'm just God. All right, first things. The Satanic Temple does not actually believe in Satan. They view it as an ideology. You get what I mean? A symbol, right? They don't actually believe that there is a real Satan. You get what I mean? The first Satan, right? The Church of Satan also do not believe in Satan, right? So the main two satanic groups, right, recognized by the government and things like that, right? Millions of people follow them, don't actually believe in Satan. Why are you guys calling yourself Satanists? You don't believe in Satan? That's just some edgy, cringy ass shit. You get what I'm saying? To me. So I don't want to be a part of it. Sorry to hurt you guys' feelings. I know I got Satanists watching my videos and stuff like that. You consider yourself a member of these groups, you don't really believe in Satan. The Satanic Temple also doesn't believe in magic. Alright, I believe in magic. I'm here showing you guys magic and stuff, right? Magical ideas, magical concepts, right? Sharing my experience with magic. Satanic Temple doesn't believe in magic. The Church of Satan does believe in magic. You know, I do want to say I don't disagree with everything from these organizations, right? The Satanic Temple has done a lot of charity work, a lot of volunteer work. You get what I mean? A lot of political work. You get what I mean? A lot of them are really cool, great people, right? Ideology aside, a lot of those guys and girls are great people at the end of the day. All right, the Satanic Temple also doesn't believe in God. They don't believe in Satan or God. I believe in God. You get what I mean? The Church of Satan believes they are God. Okay, I believe I am God as well, but I also believe there is a God outside of me, a God smarter, stronger than me, right? Those are the main differences, okay? Now, I'll explain my version of Satanism. Like I said, I believe in God, right? Unlike the Satanic Temple, unlike the Church of Satan, you get what I mean? I believe in a higher God, right? But I believe this higher God, and I know this higher God is Satan, okay? There is a creator. He created good and he created evil, right? That is Satan. You get what I mean? The creator of evil, who is God, who is also Satan, right? It's another name for the same thing. In my eyes, right, it is just different aspects of God. There's the God who will save you from harm and evil and negativity and created the world for you. You get what I mean? But there's also that God who is, angry, right? Who is evil, right? Who created sickness, death, disease, right? Everything he created was not good, right? He created jealousy in the first place. He created envy in the first place. He created death and sin and war in the first place, right? This is Satan, the part of God that created things that I do not align with, created things that I do not want, right? Created things that I don't approve of. You get what I mean? Created things that harm other people, right? That is my main difference. I actually believe in Satan, right? The ruler of the world, the creator of the world. It is Satan, right? The Church of Satan doesn't believe that. The Satanic Temple doesn't believe that. So I don't consider myself a Satanist anymore. I don't know why they use that term. You get what I mean? They could call themselves something else. Satanic Temple could have called themselves the Eastern Volunteer Group or something, the Eastern Political Party or something. You know what I'm saying? They could have called themselves something else. The Church of Satan could have called themselves, you get what I mean, anything else, right? But they took this idea of Satan from the Bible and that ideology, right? But Satan in real life goes beyond the Satan in the Bible, right? Just like Jesus goes beyond the Jesus in the Bible, right? These are real spirits, right? These are real forces of energy. These are real souls, right? Who still experience things that have not been written down thousands of years ago, who are still alive today, right? A lot of Christians and other religious people won't agree with me, right? But even in the Bible, right, God reneged. God took back his word. God had a change of mind, a change of plans. Ultimately, for my beliefs, we are just in God's grace, right? God isn't actively attacking me right now or nothing, but I understand his true nature, right? He is the creator of evil at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. There's no apology for that. You get what I mean? In my current life, right? That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for, how do you make this right, God? How do you make this right, Satan? Right? You're out here destroying people. You get what I mean? Making people sick, right? Cursing people, literally. Even in the Bible, he done destroyed whole cities, then cursed people's whole bloodlines, things like that, right? These are the powers of Satan, right? Evil powers. But what I do agree on with the Church of Satan and the Satanic Temple, Satan also is an expression of personal power, personal liberation, right? Freedom, being able to do what you want to do because you are a God, right? Not being put in boundaries and limitations and restrictions, right? Not putting restrictions on yourself, right? That is a positive aspect of God, right? But the negative aspect of God, like I said, is, years of torture. You get what I mean? You ate the fruit of knowledge of good and evil, now you're cursed, right? That is Satan, right? They are the same being to me. God is Satan. That is something that the Satanic Temple doesn't agree with. That is something that the Church of Satan doesn't agree with, right? A lot of people ask me what my religion is, what my actual beliefs are. You get what I mean? There's really no name for it, right? Because I'm not necessarily a Christian. I'm not necessarily a Satanist. You get what I mean? I'm just my own personal being. I have my own relationship with God, with Satan, with angels, with demons, with the world, with the earth, etc., with other people. You get what I mean? And that's just the truth of the world, right? God created evil, right? We are gods, right? I do agree with that on the Church of Satan. We are gods, right? But they are gods stronger than us. There's other gods too. You get what I mean? And I do believe in magic. Maybe not what other people call magic, right? But I believe, right, God knows magic. Satan knows magic. Creating the world is magical to me. Walking on water is magical to me. I will call that magic. You may call that something else. Christians may call that something else. To me, that is magic. Turning water into wine, magic. Bringing people back to life, magic. Healing people without herbs or medicine, right? Through energy, through magic. Energy is magic in the first place. Vibration is magic, right? Frequency is magic. The whole world, your whole existence, my whole existence is magic, right? Even scientists just have hypotheses and theories how these things were made, right? They don't know a lot of the truth of the world, right? Because it's literally magic, right? They haven't figured it out yet, right? I believe in science too, like the Satanic Temple. I believe in science, right? But I just know in the current year, right, in this current generation, right, science is not adequate enough for a great mind. There's still not cures for the common cold and stuff, right? I believe science will get to that point one day, right? Curing cancer, curing right? Lifelong terminal illnesses and things like that. I do believe in science. I just know it's not there yet. And I know magic can supplement science. You can go to the hospital, do their surgeries, right? Take their medicine. You can also go a more natural way, right? Take herbs, things like that, sun gaze, ground, things like that, right? But there's also magic you can do, right? I don't just pick one, right? You can use all these things. My brain takes knowledge and insight from the entire world around me, right? Not just myself. Right, there's other gods here too, right, that I learned from. I've learned a whole lot from. I've enjoyed a whole lot of their creations, music, art, movies from other gods, other goddesses, right? It's not just me. So that's why I'll never call myself a Satanist now. I know a lot of my friends in real life and stuff may watch this video. I've called myself a Satanist before, I have, right? Things change though. I just don't want to be grouped together with these people who I have different ideas from, right? We're still people at the end of the day. We're still humans, right? I respect them. I have nothing against them. I have nothing against the Church of Satan or the Temple of Satan, right? I just understand fully, right, my differences between them. And just like the Church of Satan views their ideas as real Satanism, and the Satanic Temple views their ideas as real Satanism, I view my ideas as real Satanism, right? You are a god, you are a goddess, but there are other gods, other goddesses, okay? The highest god is Satan. That's just the difference. So if you've seen me use the term Satanism in my past videos, that's really what I mean, right? But again, those are not the predominant ideas of Satanism. It's also not on those spooky, goth, emo, edgy, cringy stuff. You get what I mean? You could be a morally correct person, right? Which I try to be, which I am, which I try to teach, and still have the knowledge of there is a creator of evil, and that is Satan. And even if there was a God, right, who created everything, and then another being under him created evil, right, the higher being still allowed it, right? So he's Satan. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. An omnipresent, omnipotent, all-powerful creator of everything should have control, right? Should be able to, you get what I mean, determine how life will go. He allowed it to go into a direction of evil, right? Still, Satan. In the same way, there's good parts and bad parts about God to me, parts I agree with, parts I don't. There's good and bad parts about Satan. I agree with and I don't. This is my own knowledge of Satanism, true Satanism. But there are actual pure, holy, nothing but divine beings. People consider God to be nothing but holy, divine, pure, righteous, right? Even though he created the unholy, the disgusting, you get what I mean? The wrath. He created these things, right? He is not that holy, divine, perfect, righteous being, but there are beings like that, right? Even as humans, there's some humans who literally have done nothing wrong, or, you know, they've been 99% pure. You get what I mean? There's other angels and other beings, other deities, other gods, other goddesses out there who are nothing but divine, pure, holy, righteous, right? But that is not God, right? God created death, war, sickness, right? So people attach that divine, holy, pure, righteous energy to God, right? To the highest God, right? To the creator, even though the creator created things that are not that. Okay, that energy is in him, but that energy is also in other beings, in the same way that disgusting, nasty, unpure, unrighteous energy is in other beings as well. But there are beings like that who are totally divine and pure, and these are the beings who I try to be like. God doesn't have to try to be like that. God just is what he is what she is. It is what it is. You get what I mean? Same way these beings just are what you are. You are what you are at the end of the day, right? I know I'm not that energy. I know I'm not that perfectly righteous energy, right? I try to be, right? I would consider myself even 99% of that, right? But I know I still get angry sometimes, right? There's things I'm still working on, right? I'm not finished yet. I'm not perfect yet. I'm not done yet. You get what I mean? But there's other, you know, enlightened beings, ascended beings who are like that, right? But the same way, you know, you don't have to be like that for us to be friends, or for us to live together, or for us to be neighbors. You know, everyone has their bad days, right? Everyone has their shit, right? Everyone will defend themselves. right? Everyone has gotten sick. Everyone's going to die. You know what I mean? It's not a mark against you, right? It's not a mark against God. Me calling God Satan is not a mark against God. He just is what he is, right? Me calling these other beings divine, pure, holy, it just is what it is. It's not a mark against them either, right? I have my issues with them too, even though they're 100% pure, divine, righteous, right? I think they could be doing a whole lot more than what they are doing. You get what I mean? I feel like they should be more active, right? So it's not just the, oh, this is perfect and this is wrong type of energy, or this is right, this is wrong type of energy. No, we're just all here. We're just existing. We're just being. We are what we are. Some people you meet will be way more negative. Some people you meet will be way more divine. But this is the grace of God. This is the grace of Satan, literally, right? We're all sinners, right? In the Bible, we're all sinners, right? Satan could try to take control of all of us, right? But this is the grace of God. This is the grace of Satan, right? They're doing something else. You know what I mean? God allows us to exist, right? These imperfect creatures to exist. These other gods and other goddesses to exist, right? How jealous can you really be? I don't think you're that jealous, for real. Right? I believe in karma. Things will be what they are. Things will become what they're supposed to become. But it's like a permanent record thing. You get what I mean? You've stolen before, you've cheated before, you've lied before. That's still who you are. You get what I mean? That's your history. That's your memory. That's in your Akashic records. You get what I mean? We've all probably done things like that. Even as kids, we've all gotten fights before. Kids get in fights all the time. You get what I mean? And that's okay, right? We forgive, we forget, we move on, we work on it, right? The same way, that's what God's doing. God's working on that satanic side of himself, right? Sometimes God will rather be Satan. Sometimes Satan will rather be God. You get what I mean? Because both are true. Someone breaks into your house or something, you could destroy them, right? Which is a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Or you could try to help them, right? Maybe you're older, maybe you can give them a job, maybe you're a CEO or something, maybe you could just give them some money, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they could work for you or something, right? Maybe you could just call the police, maybe you don't got to completely destroy them, maybe you just get them arrested, right? There's reason, you get what I mean, for us, right? But for God, right, for Satan, right, I don't see any reason to create evil and negativity and sickness and death. There's no reason but evil to me as a omnipresent, omnipotent, all-powerful creator of everything. That is only evil, right? That's in his nature. That's in his permanent record. That's in his history. That's in his memories. That's in his Akashic records. You get what I mean? God is not exempt from judgment. Same way God is judging you, you can judge God. Same way Satan is judging you, you can judge Satan, right? If I was Job, I'd be like, fuck you, Satan. If I was Job, I'd be like, fuck you, God, too. Why you letting this nigga talk to me? Right? There's reason. There's reason and purpose. And ultimately, we're just trying to live our lives the way we deem as correct. Right? We're trying to do the best for ourselves, right? The best for our families, right? The best for our partners and our kids and our parents, right? We take all these things into consideration. So when you take the whole world into consideration, right, which I have, God is Satan, the creator of evil, the creator of sickness, the creator of death, the creator of war, right? The creator of peace, the creator of joy, the creator of relaxation, the creator of love, the creator of hate. When you say everything, really mean everything, mean what you say, right? A lot of Christians don't mean what they say when they say God created everything. Okay, what about all this? Everything is not just good, right? And in my past videos, when I say I connect more with Satan than God, I connect more with that being who's like, fuck this, I want to do what I want to do. You get what I mean? Fuck everyone else. I'm just trying to do what I want to do. I'm just trying to chill all day. People don't want you to chill all day. People want you to be a slave. Remember that. People want you to work all day, 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. Right? I connect with that part of God, that part of Satan, the same being who's like, I just want to be in my garden. Literally, I just want to be in my garden all day. Right? But here comes some bullshit. Here comes some external forces. Here comes some other gods, some other goddesses, maybe some sheep, maybe some wolves, whatever it is, who don't want me to be in the state of being that I would love to be in, that I prefer to be in. Right? That is my Satan. That's my version of Satan. You get what I mean? But that it is, you know, that all that evil stuff too, right? But it is what it is. You get what I mean? I don't know. I don't understand it. Maybe I'll understand it when I pass on to the next life. But at this point, with my human brain, death is death, sickness is sickness, war is war. At the end of the day, there's no excuse for it. I got the black cat. I got the black cat. Watch me talk about it. That gotta be a good sign. Right? I would advise you to just think deeply about what you really want to do, right? If you are God, if you are really God, you had all the power in the world, omnipresent, omnipotent, all-powerful, what would you really do? You know what I would do? Okay, me and God has had this conversation. Me and Satan has had this conversation. We agree. We would probably just be chilling on the clouds, right? We just be laying down all day. I'd be laying down all day. I probably would not get up. And I mean, as an omnipresent, omnipotent, all-powerful creator, right? We can't do that, right? In human bodies, right? We'll get sick, right? We'll get bed rot, right? We'll get weak. You get what I mean? Take these circumstances of being a human out. Just pure God, your pure godly essence. I would just be chilling all day, would not get up. I would be eating, right? The food would just magically disappear, like the plates, the dirty forks, all that stuff would just magically be clean, disappear, right? Out of my existence, right? But food would just come to me, right? And this is sin, right? This is gluttony. Food would just come to me, the best foods in the world, right? The best fruits, the most ripe fruits, right? I'd be chilling all day, laying down in my most comfortable position. What is your most comfortable position, right? It's probably laying down. That's how you sleep. That is the most comfortable position you know as a human, more than likely, right? I'd be in my most comfortable position, taking in positive senses. That's really all it is. Taste. I'd want to taste the best things. Smell. I'd want to smell the best incense, right? Hearing. I'd want to hear actual silence, right? I'd want to hear silence, right? Good silence. Silence sometimes is better than your favorite song, honestly. I'd want to hear just good silence, okay? Good, great, deep silence, deep reverberating silence. Or if you make music, you know, just deep reverberate, you know what I'm saying? For my senses, right? I just want to be pleased. I want to be living in a state of ecstasy and pleasure, right? The Church of Satan agrees on this. This is like hedonism, right? I'd want to be surrounded by nothing but beautiful women, right? And the few men who agree with my ideology, who are just my twins pretty much, I mean, we're really just the same, right? Maybe some other men, whatever, you know what I mean? Just for conversation, just for jokes, right? But, right, 100% more women, right? Like 1,000,000% more women, just beautiful women who also just agree with my ideology, right? There's no arguments, there's no fighting, there's no war, there's no evil, there's no sickness, there's no death, right? Just pure godly ecstasy. You get what I mean? In a human form, you really can't do that, right? You're gonna get fat, right? You gotta be like a trillionaire or something to do that for real. It's damn near impossible to find someone with your exact ideas in the first place, right? Even your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your mom, your kids don't have your exact same ideas, right? This is like a simulation at this point. This ain't even real, right? This is like a version of heaven to me, right? Just nothing but ecstasy, being comfortable, enjoying food and women, right? This is hedonism though, right? But as a human in this world, right, we have to teach other people, right? We have to feed other people. We have to feed ourselves. We have to defend ourselves. We got a whole lot more to worry about. Sickness, death, right? Disease, right? Starvation, dehydration, right? Being lazy, right? We got jobs, kids, we got parents, we got all kind of stuff, right? In my actual heaven, none of that stuff is even there. It's just me, some other Satans, right? In this version of me, my pure hedonistic version, I'm really just another Satan. Just me, maybe like 1, 2 other Satans, and like as many women as, you know what I'm saying? So many women I lost count. You get what I mean? As an idea, right? What do you want to do? If you're in your pure godly essence, what do you want to do? Right? That's really what I want to do. I just want to chill. Maybe you want to do something different, right? Maybe you're not a Satanist, right? Maybe you never called yourself a Satanist. Maybe you're not a hedonist, right? Maybe you're not a glutton, right? But I know myself, right? I have deep conversations with myself, with God, with Satan. I know myself. That is what it is. It is what it is. That sounds like a beautiful life to me, right? In an environment that never gets old. You get what I mean? In a room, in a building, in a house that never gets old. You get what I mean? Just in a drunken state, in a high state, in an ecstasy state. You get what I mean? I can't live like that. I got a lot of things to do. Right? This is not a simulation. This is not heaven. This is not hell. This is earth. And our current generation, right? We got to solve all this stuff, right? People get into politics, all kind of stuff we got to worry about, right? But I would probably do that literally trillions of years. I don't think that would get old to me, right? As a human, that's the best thing, right? What's the best things on earth to you? To me, that's the best things on earth, right? The most comfortable bed in the world, prettiest woman in the world, the best food in the world, a nice, you know what I mean? A nice location, a location I never get tired of. I'm asking for a whole lot. I'm asking for a whole lot, right? But you know, it is what it is. That's what it is. That's real Satanism to me, right? But these other people view Satanism as we want to kill everyone or something like that. Like no Satanist really thinks like that. We gotta destroy everything or something like that. It's just no. It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that to me. But yeah, you know, that's just how I go. I was not created. I was not born before 1966. Probably would start some real Satanism stuff, right? I was born when I was born, right? People were already calling themselves Satanists before I was even born, so nothing I could really do about it, right? But right now, today, you get what I'm saying? This is what I'm doing. We are Band of the Dog, right? I'm Cerberus, right? We're just God's children. You get what I mean? As God's child, what do you want to do forever? Literally, right? Christians have this idea of heaven, right? But if you created your own heaven, because you are God, right? You are the son of God, you are the daughter of God, how would it be? That would be my heaven. In a way, that would also be, you know, hell to other people, right? So many of my closest friends just don't even exist. So many of my angels don't even exist in this world. That destroys literally 99% of the world. You get what I mean? Not even thinking about it, right? Because it's just poof, just gone. Didn't even exist, right? But we're not in a blank state, right? When we were born, the world was born before us, right? We're progressing something that already existed. So progress how you want to progress, you get what I mean? Make progress on the things you want to make progress on. Become the person you want to become. You get what I mean? Ultimately, right, that's really kind of who I want to become, right? But I'm on earth, right? I'm progressing something that was already here, so I'd rather be a healer, right? Because I understand these people are so sick out here. These people are dying out here. These people are confused out here. I'd rather be a healer. I'd rather be a teacher. I'd rather learn more divine secrets, right? That didn't have anything to do with knowledge, right? I'm not Solomon. You get what I mean? I ain't asking for knowledge. You get what I mean? I'm asking to relax. I'm asking for ecstasy, literally. Not the drug. I'm talking about pure serotonin, dopamine. You get what I mean? Internal and external ecstasy. Because I keep it a butt with God. I keep it a butt with Satan, right? But we can't do that, right? They're dropping bombs on people and stuff. They trying to get rid of school funding, right? People have to be intelligent, right? We value things, right? And I value things beyond just that in this reality, right? Because we're in this reality, right? We got to value things other than ourselves, right? Because, right, we're not selfish people. You get what I mean? We're not hedonists at the end of the day, right? Even though I may want that, right, spiritually, you know what I mean? But I understand, right? I stay grounded, right? We're here, right? We got things to do here. We got work to do here. It's not just I can lay in bed all day. I'm not a lazy fucking asshole. You get what I'm saying? I'm not a lazy degenerate. You get what I mean? But yeah, that's why I'll never consider myself a Satanist again. Shout out to all my Satanist homies, though. I still got love for y'all. You get what I'm saying? Shout out to my gods and my goddesses who watching this. Shout out to my angels who watching this. Shout out to my demons who watching this, right? Shout out to my magicians who watching this. My sorcerers, my witches, you feel me? My astrologers, you get what I'm saying? My aliens and shit, my humans, my dogs, right? You don't gotta be a dog to be my dog, you feel me? But peace and super blessings, right? Super peace, super blessings to you. Have a super day, super month, super week, super year. We're working with our super angels. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for making it to the end. Till next time, peace.